Hello everyone, welcome back to Saddle Up Shooting. I'm Dave Strohmeyer, your host. Today I hope to have a good video for you, but it starts with a quiz. What is the smallest projectile weight approved in all 50 states with the exception of straight wall cartridge states for deer-sized game, and the projectile exceeds 3,200 feet per second and is perpetually in the top 10 caliber cartridge combinations in the United States? A little help: it was developed in 1955 off of the .308 case neck down to .243 Winchester. Well, I'm going to be comparing two rifles today, bolt action and semi-auto, using an 85 grain Sierra hollow point boat tail, which seems to be real popular amongst deer hunters. Come back in a moment, folks. Target set up at 100 yards. Let's get shooting. Okay, the Sierra 85 grain hollow point boat tail bullet seems to be the most commented on all of my 243 videos as their most popular. Now, I bought over the last 15 years probably 1,000 of these bullets, and quite frankly haven't shot them very much. Alright, so a little bit of history. Going back, just 30 years ago, Remington and Winchester, basically for their commercial ammunition for the 243, only made two bullet weight projectile combinations in factory ammo, 80 grain and 100 grain. Now, of course, later on, several companies came out with boutique bullets and put them together at higher cost, and of course the reloader has gone from, the 55 grain all the way up to 103-ish, 105-ish grain for the 243 Winchester. And the reason for that bullet weight spread is because of the barrel twist in this rifle. Now, this is a Remington 700 BDL that I bought from my brother-in-law. He put this blade thumb hole stock on it, did trigger work. He did a real good job, and being a good brother-in-law, he charged me a little bit for this rifle, and it shoots great. I've never been able to get quite the muzzle velocity out of it that I got out of my other 243s, but it's a very accurate shooter. Alright, so like these bullets here, there's over 50 of them. I loaded these on 9/9/2018. So that puts it close to 7 years old, and I haven't shot them. So you're going to see that today in both the bolt action and my semi-auto on target, and let's see how they perform, and let's talk a little bit more about the bullet and why Sierra is just about the only company that, for non-monometal bullets, that makes an 85 grain for deer-sized game, not for varmints. Alright, target's on down there. Let's go ahead and get the Rangecraft started here. Okay, turned it on. Go to next. Go to start a new session. Rifle, 5,000 feet per second. Here we go. Alright, so pay attention to that target. Safety off, eyes on, ears in. Here we go. .3,047. So you're going to see that in the semi-auto with the 24-inch barrel, it's going to be quite a bit faster than that. That's how slow this barrel is. This should be going right around 3,200 feet per second or faster. Love this rifle, and you can see why. Now I loaded these with Winchester 760. It's a light load at 41 grains. Obviously I can go a little bit more, but for some reason, and I don't have it on the box, 41.5, why I only went with that speed. And in my other rifle, 3,210 feet per second. That was my old 24-inch Weatherby rifle I no longer have. Okay, again, 30-21. So it's slower, but does that really matter? Not for what I consider this bullet to be good for, which is out to 300, 350 yards. Good shot placement because it is such a light bullet. So put it in the right place at the right time and you'll get your cotton picking deer. Recoil on a 243, most of you know, is somewhere in the 9 to 13 pound recoil. All right, well, let's switch over then. You saw those 3 shots. Be right back. Now, some say the 243 Winchester, made in 1955, in the same year I was born, so we both turned 70 together, is being replaced by the new 6mm offerings, the 6mm Creedmoor, 6 Dasher, 6 whatever. Okay, well, to the purist, to the hunter, this cartridge will never be replaced. Now the newer barrels, the newer cartridges are longer, leaner, higher BC bullets. I don't dispute that. But hunters tend to stick with what has worked with them in the past and never stray from that. Now the 243 Winchester was one of the first cartridges that I started to reload on over 30 years ago, and quite frankly it threw me quite a few curveballs. Didn't know much back then, but these cases do tend to stretch, so they pretty much need to be trimmed after practically every shot. How they work in a semi-auto is completely different than how they'll work in a bolt action. In a semi-auto, you're limited by magazine length, but fortunately these 85 grains, these short stubby bullets made by Sierra, have a shorter case overall length anyway of 2.600 instead of what it's supposed to, what it says, excuse me, 2.600. Yeah, 50 thousandths shorter than what is in the bolt action. All right, so up on the bench is my Bear Creek Arsenal complete rifle, a 24-inch barrel, and a 243. Now I did some upgrades on it, and I've done some, go back to my playlist on the 243 on the Bear Creek Arsenal and you can see the complete workup. But real quickly, I have a muzzle brake on there which reduces recoil. I have a Luth fancy grip. It's a little fatter for my hands. I have a Luth AR MBA3 stock on here, and I have a Rise Armament 140 trigger set right at about 3.5 pounds. I have a CV Life scope on here, which is a 4.5 by 25 by 50 scope. Okay, well, let's go ahead and see how this shoots. I think I told you everything. All right, be the same target. Now I expect this to go 150 feet per second faster than my Remington 700 with a 22-inch barrel. And I expect a different shot placement because it is going faster. I suspect lower, but that's going to remain to be seen. Let's go ahead and get going here. Get comfortable behind the gun. 3207. $32.01. $32.26. Good old Winchester 760 powder never let me down. And isn't it funny that the components that I'm using other than the Sierra bullet is all Winchester. Winchester brass, Winchester large rifle primer, Winchester 760 powder. Alright folks, well let's go take a look at that target, analyze, summarize, follow up. See you soon. Well, this target kind of shows why people love the 243 and don't see any need to go to the newfangled 6mm unless they're long distance shooters for the newer manufactured bullets, which are great. Well, here's the target, folks. Over here you can see that's my horseshoe nail. That's the first three with the Remington Model 700. Alright, that's less than a half an inch. Okay, then over here is the VCA 24 inch, and you can see that that's about the same size with that horseshoe nail. So I'm not going to measure it. I just wanted to know where they shot. Both rifles shoot approximately the same neighborhood. The difference is that the VCA with the 24 inch barrel was 150 to 170 feet per second faster. So that's probably why I have a lot of these bullets to shoot up, and I'll probably be doing a lot more. I do have some flat base Sierras that I want to try because that should give me a little bit better accuracy, although I don't think it's necessary, but it will also give me a little bit greater velocity, which in a small caliber cartridge like the 243, speed is your friend. Okay folks, well I hope you enjoyed this short brief video on the 243 and the 85 grain Sierra hollow point bow tail. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment if you will. And check your subscriptions please. But no matter what, as always, may God bless y'all. See you again next time. Goodbye.